The Retribution Paladin is gonna be eating pretty good in MoP. They actually got some buffs. Some people were arguing they did not need those buffs, but we know that the game director plays a red paladin and they will never allow them to be a lukewarm top 5 DPSer. They gotta be always at the podium, or otherwise Blizzard is gonna catch up in flames, and we don't wanna see that, of course. First of all, we're gonna be taking Speed of Light. It is a movement speed cooldown. Any movement speed is amazing. As a melee, movement speed is uptime. Don't forget about that. And uptime is damage, like I say every video. I know some people like long arm of the law, but it is more of a PvP talent. And there is some fights where it makes sense to take this talent, okay? It is slower and it lasts only 3 seconds, but it happens every judgment. There are very few fights where you gotta move a significant distance more than every 45 seconds, which is the cooldown of Speed of Light. I am not gonna say that you're never gonna take a long arm of the law, but yeah, 90% of the fights, Speed of Light is the way to go. After that, we're gonna take Fist of Justice. It is just a stun. You can take whichever one in here. It doesn't really matter. Evil is a point of view, is bad, of course, but Repentance and Fist of Justice, there is a good use for both of them. They don't do much. Then we are gonna be taking Sacred Shield. It is very much the intended defensive cooldown for a paladin. You can actually shield other people with it, like a priest, if you like that. Most of the time you're gonna be shielding yourself, of course, but it is pretty nice utility. And the other two talents, this one consumes Holy Power, it is not happening, and this one is gonna make your heals faster. That's for healing. We are not healers, right? So Sacred Shield is by far the best we can take in here. After that, we're gonna be taking Clemency, which is gonna remove the cooldown on Hand of Freedom and Hand of Protection, and also Hand of Sacrifice and Salvation, doesn't matter, okay? Hand of Protection and Hand of Freedom are actually very important. They are your two best utility cooldowns, and you can use them twice now. Otherwise, if there is a fight with a lot of dispels, Hand of Purity, so you can help dispel the people, is actually a great talent too, but do not forget about Hand of Purity. It is a pretty good talent, especially in a fight with dots. It will reduce 80% dot damage, especially if the tank is taking heavy dots. This is actually a lot of value. And then we're gonna be taking Sanctified Rat. It will reduce the cooldown of Hammer of Rat by 50%, which is a shame because these other two talents are kinda interesting, but 50% on one of your most important abilities is a lot of damage. Nothing can compete with this one. And finally, we're gonna take Execution Sentence. It does a ton of damage. It is like Unstable Affliction or something like that. It is like a long dot that does a ton of damage. You might wanna take Light's Hammer if you think you're gonna be only AoEing pretty much. If you think it's only gonna be like half AoE, half single target or something like that, like even a kinda extreme scenario, it is still better to take Execution Sentence. But yeah, if you absolutely for whatever reason wanna prioritize AoE damage, Light's Hammer is up there. We're gonna take Execution Sentence, obviously. Now for the Glyphs, there is not a lot of great options for you really, so you can take almost whatever you want in here and it will make some sense. I would take the Glyph of Hand of Sacrifice. I think it is very important. Hand of Sacrifice is basically you put it on somebody else and you take some of their damage instead, but with this Glyph, it is not gonna redirect damage to you, so it is just a flat damage taken reduction, so it is actually very good utility for helping out the tank. Don't be a jerk, try to help out the raid, try to be useful, is all I'm saying. Templar's Verdict is also one that I would like to take a lot, because it is just flat damage taken reduction, and as a melee, you're gonna be inevitably standing on stuff, right? You take 10% less damage when you do Templar's Verdict. Now for the last Glyph, this is where you got like a lot of choices here, and you can take pretty much anything you want, okay? You really can. You can take Double Jeopardy for cleaving, for example. It is decent. I do not recommend Glyph of Harsh Words because it is a new ability that you can use, but you already have a Holy Power dump. I don't know, maybe some people can sim it and tell me that it is more damage. I don't feel that it is practical. I really don't. You can even justify Inquisition if you're doing like a long fight. There is nothing good here, okay? There is really nothing good here. I guess like if you don't know what to take, if you don't know how to choose a particular fight, if you don't know what you're gonna be encountering, if you're unsure, I would take Double Jeopardy. Because you are almost always gonna be cleaving two targets at some point in any fight. Almost every fight has adds. And this will always be 20% more damage on your next judgment if you know how to use it. It is whatever, man. Do not pay too much attention to the third Glyph because there is really nothing good in here. Of course, your minor Glyphs are all cosmetic, so so do not care too much about those, take whatever you like. Your stat priority is a little atypical for a melee. First of all, we're gonna go for a hit cap of 7.5%, then the expertise cap of 7.5%. After that is gonna come strength, and after that is gonna come haste. Haste is gonna shorten the global cooldown, and that will give us more holy power generation because we do more stuff. After that is gonna come your mastery. What is your mastery? It is more damage on your Crusader Strike, your Hammer of the Righteous, your Hammer of Wrath, your Templar's Verdict, and your Divine Storm. That's pretty much it, like more ability damage, that's what it means. And finally, after that, we're gonna take crit. We are gonna reforce crit away every single time pretty much. There is nothing good for us to get in crits. Usually a spec that likes crit is a spec that gets some sort of proc from crits, and that is not the case here. Looking at you, Arms Warrior, for a rotation we're gonna spend 3 charges of Holy Power. We are gonna keep Inquisition on us once we reach 3 Holy Power. The way it works is because of your Crusader Strike and your Exorcism cooldown, you should be able to do 1 or 2 Templar's Verdicts after Inquisition, and you should be able to feed it in before Inquisition runs out, or maybe barely after it runs out. It's fine. After that, we're gonna do Execution Sentence on cooldown. After that, if we got 5 charges of Holy Power, Templar's Verdict is gonna be the #1 priority because we got the maximum amount of Holy Power, which is now 5, not 3. Remember that, guys. We wanna dump our Holy Power on Templar's Verdict. It does a ton of damage. After that, we're gonna do Hammer of Wrath, which is our execute. It will only work if the boss is under 20% HP, or if we got our wings up. If you pop your wings, your main DPS cooldown, you can also spam it, which is a lot of value, don't forget about that. After that, we're gonna do Crusader Strike. It is our bread and butter, it generates holy power, it has a 4.5 second cooldown, so do it on cooldown pretty much. It is of utmost importance that we do it on cooldown, and same with Exorcism. Exorcism will also build up holy power and it has a cooldown. After that, we're gonna do Judgment, and yes, we are gonna be using Seal of Truth pretty much all of the time. Seal of Truth does a lot of damage, and also Judgment will give you holy power. So of course we wanna do Judgment on cooldown. If you are out of any filler and you do not have the 5 holy power charges yet, you can still do a Templar's Verdict as a filler. It is not terrible. The more haste you get, the more you're gonna be using Templar's Verdict generally. The cool part is once you get to the execute phase and you can do Hammer of Wrath on cooldown, your holy power generation goes up by like 33%, I guess, and you can do a lot more of those. That's why popping Avenging Wrath, your wings, at the start of the pool is actually a good idea a lot of the time, because you can get more holy powers with your holy wraths, and you can get your Inquisition up early, and then you can get like your damage done. A little extra uptime on Inquisition will go a long way. By the way, if you have trouble keeping Inquisition up, the Inquisition glyph is up there for you. You should not need it, but if you feel that you're messing up and you don't have a great uptime on Inquisition, there is no shame in taking that glyph. Like I said, the third glyph of the Retribution Paladin is pretty useless, so those extra 30 seconds, if your uptime is not great, I mean, call them training wheels if you like, you might as well take them. Why not? For your AoE rotation, we are gonna use Seal of Righteousness, because it does AoE damage. After that goes Inquisition, like we said, on 3 charges. It is still 3 charges for Inquisition, that's gonna be your golden rule. After that is gonna come Divine Storm, your greatest holy power dump in AoE. It does a ton of damage as well. You wanna dump it on 5 charges, but it will work very similar to Verdict at the end. We're gonna talk about that at the end of the rotation. After that, we're gonna do Hammer of Wrath on cooldown if we can. Remember, execute, whatever, whatnot, the cooldown is still the same. You need to be below 20% or to have your wings up. After that, we're gonna do Hammer of the Righteous. It is basically a cleaving Crusader Strike. It is the same thing. After that, we're gonna do Judgment on cooldown, and this is where that glyph I recommended, your double jeopardy, will pay off, because 20% extra damage, that will definitely pay off. And after that, we're gonna do Exorcism on cooldown. This is where mass Exorcism would really pay off, because Exorcism on AoE would be a lot of damage. For the most part, we're not gonna take it though, because it will reduce the damage of Exorcism single target by 25%, and that's a huge loss, right? We cannot afford to take it. But if you're farming dungeons, for example, it is actually a great glyph, don't forget about that. And as a filler, we're gonna do Divine Storm, even if we do not have the charges we need. Kinda like Templar's Verdict, it is just gonna be a filler spell. As you can see, the AoE rotation is basically the single target rotation with extra steps. After that, we got two big cooldowns we gotta talk about. One of them is Avenging Rat, and it will give you 20% more damage for 20 seconds, and it will allow you to do Holy Rat even if the boss is not below 20% HP. And that's important because of your other cooldown, which has the same 3-minute cooldown, and that's the Guardian of Ancient Kings. You know this guy, you just summon this guy named Jerry, and he helps you out and stuff. It's like a pet, right? But here's the thing, right? Your attacks will give him more charges, and those charges, when he ends at the 30 seconds, he's gonna do like a big blow up and don't pull that damage out. So because you got Avenging Rat and you can do Holy Rat with it, you gotta pop them at the same time, because that way, well, not only you get the 20% extra value, duh, but also more Holy Rat is more attacks, more stuff, and more stuff means more charges of the boom boom at the end. Never forget about the boom boom, man. You thought I forgot about the boom boom? No, I have not. Your blue gem is gonna be the Reverberating Primal Diamond for that 3% boom boom. Your red gem is gonna be the Bold Primordial Ruby for more strength. Your yellow gem is gonna be the Fierce Vermilion Onyx for 80 strength and haste. Your two best stats after your hit cap, of course. Strength and haste are very toe to toe, so you can actually imagine this as a full strength gem, and it is still the same. It is amazing. And your blue gem is gonna be the Etched Imperial Amethyst. Once again, there is never a good blue gem that doesn't have heat on it, so if you need to get rid of heat, just reforge around it. It is what it is. Your food is gonna be the Black Pepper Ribs and Shrimp for more strength. Your flask is gonna be the Flask of Winter's Bite for more strength. And your potion is gonna be the Potion of Mogu Power. Once again, like I say every video, people keep saying on the comments, you can still pre-pot in MoP. They didn't change the pre-pot. Pop one of these right before the fight. Don't forget, you can still pre-pot. Overall, the Retribution Paladin is a neat, nice little class, and it got buffed even though it probably didn't need a buff. I always say that a red paladin is always a safe bet because Blizzard will never allow red paladins to be bad, and this buff is the perfect proof of that. So if you wanna play a 200 melee DPSer and you accidentally hit paladin instead of arms warrior, welcome to the club! Just kidding, I will probably play a red paladin in MoP because I got a paladin I got nothing to do with, so I might as well play red with it. It is a good spec, okay? Jokes aside, me making fun of them, you know, warrior versus paladin, the whole 9 yards. Red is very good and red is very useful, and that's a combination we always want. We are gonna do a guide on every single spec in MoP. Check out our Discord for the weak auras and macros for every single spec. We got them all up there. And subscribe, join the Discord, and thank you for watching.